Joe from SquareXO, and this is SquareXO episode 77. We're getting ever closer to episode 100 now, and we'll keep going, and hopefully we'll get there. I imagine it'll be next year by now, won't it? Episode 100.
So, yeah.
Don't think we'll quite manage this year, but still we're getting there. Okay, but Rebecca's here, as you can see, or
Hello.
here if you're listening. Don't forget, we're at squarexo.co.uk, twitter.com/square_xo, and you can back us on patreon.com/squarexo, where you can get the SquareXO extra episode, which we need to record.
We do?
Yes, we'll do that next week. Patreon listeners, you'll get your SquareXO extra next week. And yeah, as well as that, you can also get like extra perks as well, but you can check them out on patreon.com/squarexo. You can listen to us on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, and Google. And also we're on youtube.com/JohansonWater. So wherever you listen or watch, please leave us a nice review, because that helps people find us. Speaking of the website, 45 reviews in September, so it was very, very busy. And I think we've already got at least 2 reviews today as well. That is Mega Man 11 and Jack and Jill DX, which is like a 10-minute platinum game, I believe.
10 minutes? That's cool.
Play it. It's $3.99, and I saw a video, because I never reviewed it, but I saw a video that you can get the platinum in 10 minutes. So if somebody's after a quick platinum for $3.99, that kind of reminds me of the sort of what we were saying before about like games that are just there for the sake of a platinum.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe. But I think he scored all right. I can't remember his score now, but it's 6 or 7 out of 10, so it wasn't dreadful. Apparently it's a fun little game, so there you go. Okay, anyway, that's all that out of the way. Episode 77, and we're going to talk about the gaming news. Right, the first thing I've got on my list is that Bungie has trademarked an application for an undisclosed project known as Matter. So they've got Destiny 2, obviously. Matter could be anything. It sort of had this logo and all these sort of splash of colours in the background, kind of a bit like Splatoon or something, or splash of colours, but I've no idea what that could be, unless it's some Destiny add-on, or maybe it's a completely new game. I don't know. It didn't look very Destiny-ish from the logo, so it'll be quite interesting to see what that is. Maybe it could be a VR game or something.
Could be.
If it's just a small project. But yeah, so that was that. Mojang has unveiled Minecraft Dungeons, a new dungeon crawler set in the Minecraft universe. It's only come to PC, but I thought it was worth mentioning, because if it takes off on PC, maybe it will come to the consoles as well. This was interesting to me, at least. The FIFA 19, in FIFA 19 it discloses the pack odds for Ultimate Team. Now, I'm quite a big Ultimate Team player. Basically, it's just a bit like Panini cards, if you know what they are.
Yeah, I've been selling it all weekend, so I know a lot about FIFA.
Well, you know, Team. Good. I'm glad you know what it is. So basically, the pack odds have been revealed. So when you buy a gold pack, it'll tell you what your chances are. And the chances of getting an 85 plus player are only 1%.
Really?
Yeah, so it's crazy. One of the things I've noticed in FIFA Ultimate Team as well is that you can't buy a Rangers kit in the marketplace. They seem to be completely sold out constantly. I've not been able to buy one for a whole week. So
maybe that's just because they're popular.
Yeah, no, popular Rangers. If only we were completely and utterly mid-table. Oh well, never mind. Right, PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale and other PS3 servers are shutting off in October, I think that's it. Yeah, October. I know PlayStation Battle Royale, Twisted Metal, and Warhawk are all having their servers shut down on October 25th. They're all PS3 games, but it's still quite interesting. I thought, for some weird reason, PlayStation Battle Royale was on PS4, but it's not, is it?
No, it's only PS3.
It's quite an interesting game, that one. It's because it was, I mean, I didn't really like it, but I don't like Smash Brothers, and it's a very similar style of game. But it was quite one of these titles that sort of had this sort of cult following, that really love it. So it makes me wonder one day if they would ever do a sequel. I think maybe they shut down the studio who did it. I can't remember who did it now.
No, I'm not familiar with the developers or the publishers, actually.
Yeah, I don't remember who did it, but I think they shut down. They've long shut down anyway, but it'd be interesting to see if they do a sequel one day, just because I think it's one of those titles where a lot of people have got a lot of love for it, even though it probably never sold brilliantly. Fallout 76 will not support crossplay, Bethesda has confirmed. I think that's quite funny because they were the ones making a big deal about it.
They were, weren't they?
If Sony's not going to do it, pure calling out Sony, and then they just got hypocrites because they're like, well, we're not doing it anyway. It yeah. Hopefully it'll come later, but I just think the way they made the big deal is if it could have been there at launch and then it's not.
Yeah.
And obviously, speaking about crossplay, I don't know if we've actually mentioned it on the podcast yet, but obviously it's been allowed now and it's coming to Fortnite. They said it just took so long because it was quite a complicated thing for Sony to do because they had to basically change their whole way of thinking, really. But they've done it. At least they listened and they've done it. I didn't really think they would do it. I can see the benefits of not doing it personally because Microsoft didn't want to do it when they were winning in the Xbox 360 era. They were like, no, we're not doing that. So like, it's no different for Sony saying it. And I can see why, because obviously they don't really want to give any their competition sort of any way in, if you know what I mean.
I think that's what I read. I read somewhere that PlayStation and Sony weren't keen on doing it because they wanted people to play on the PlayStation platform. They wanted more people to get engaged that way rather than, saying, oh, I've got a Xbox, so I'll just play on my Xbox, rather than considering investing in buying a PlayStation. That's what I read, but I did think inevitably it would, eventually become, compatible with the two other systems as well.
Yeah, but I think it's probably only for limited games anyway. I can't see it getting mad where it gets to the point where it's on FIFA and stuff. That would be cool, playing cross-play FIFA. You get to play with anyone, any console. That would be quite interesting, I guess. But most of the time you don't know who unless you're talking to people online, which I don't generally do, because unless you are, though, you wouldn't know what they're playing on anyway.
No, you wouldn't.
So, I mean, it's not really a big deal to me, but I'm sure it's a big deal to some people. Dirt Rally 2.0 is coming to PC and consoles next year. We actually went to the event where it got revealed, and we saw some gameplay, and the preview is on the website. It's only I don't think we've played for that long, but if you want to read a bit about Dirt Rally 2.0, then check out our website. And hopefully Nick, who went to the event, will either be able to come on the podcast next week and talk a bit about it, or we might do some sort of special thing with him where we can just have a little chat about it. Yeah, but he's in Germany at the moment, so I just told him to enjoy his holiday and then we'll sort it out when he comes back.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no PlayStation Experience event for 2018, according to Sony. It's probably a money-saving thing. At least Michael Patcher, that analyst guy, he thinks it's a money-saving thing. I think it's a bit of both. Sony doesn't really have a lot to show anymore. They've kind of blown their load,
we know, don't we? We know all the big things that are coming out. Everyone's really hyped for, obviously, Red Dead Redemption 2, and then next year you've got Metro, Anthem, Days Gone, Ghost of Tsushima's coming out in the future, Cyberpunk 2077 is coming out in the future, like we've already discussed, probably next-gen consoles. But I think you're right. I don't think Sony have got much, that they're working on right now that's not already been announced or talked about or has a release date. So, yeah, I'm not too fussed about that. I think that's
either
probably...
that or they're going to have a place. You know how when they revealed the PlayStation 4, they'd done a special event?
They did, didn't they?
And in March or something, maybe there's a PlayStation 5 review event coming next March, and they're we
all know the PlayStation 5 is coming at some point soon. So
maybe they'll have a review event in March, and then it would make sense not to have a PSX in December because it would just be all too close together, and they wouldn't be able to talk about stuff that they would be talking about in March. So maybe something like that's happening. Don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? What's next? Fallout 76 is arriving first on Xbox One. The beta, is arriving first on Xbox One. The start date is October 23rd. PlayStation 4 and PC players will get access to the beta on October 30th.
Ooh, I don't know how many people will be playing on October 30th if Red Dead's out.
Red,
Might be
yes.
just those people who get it before.
Although saying that, Red Dead Redemption 2 requires 105 gigabyte of storage space. So maybe by the time that installs, it'll be October 30th.
Yeah, possibly. Crazy that is.
That's crazy, yeah. Crazy. Okay, October PlayStation Plus games have been revealed, and they include Friday the 13th.
Halloween themed.
And Laser League, which I hear is kind of like the Rocket League of lasers or something like that. It's apparently
Nothing I've played, but I do think I've heard the very similar things. It's a Rocket League-esque, laser-esque mashup. Yes.
So it'll be quite interesting to see what Laser League is. I've never played it. I think it's been out a while, has it?
I think so.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay, and finally the charts. The charts say that FIFA is the biggest UK game of 2018. But the opening week sales have fallen 25% compared to FIFA 18's arrival 1 year ago. And that's mostly likely due to digital sales. So digital sales of FIFA are probably really high compared to other digital things. I think that did you notice that in game? Is it easy to tell?
I mean, I think I'd say honestly it's been about a 70-30. Most people are coming in obviously to pick up their physical copies, but then you do get a few people who say I just want the digital code for the game. So I think that it's different obviously because I work in a shop, so the majority of people who do come into us are going to be coming in to buy the actual game. But I've talked to a lot of people as well, like online on Twitter, and they've said, I wanted it immediately, so why would I bother going out when I can just download it on my PlayStation and then play it later in the day? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Digital, I just don't like. I much prefer. I'm a hoarder, I think.
I can see FIFA, the reason for FIFA, because FIFA's a bit of a throwaway game, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really have any value
next year
to trade in. I know you can trade in for Ultimate Team points at game. FIFA 18, you can trade in and get points or something.
Something like that. But it's just a case of FIFA games, because they're just the same every year with like slight changes, they just lose their value so much. And people, I've talked to a few people who say they're waiting for FIFA 18, and I'm like, why are you waiting for FIFA 18? FIFA 19's out. And then they'll say to me, well, it's because FIFA 18 is now significantly cheaper than it was last year, and it's basically the same thing as 19, just with one or two systems aren't in place because they've been implemented in the new one and not in the old one. But people, I don't play it, but people are saying it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is different from a sort of reviewer point of view. It does feel a lot different this year than last. I noticed more this year than I have most other years, the difference. Whereas between 17 and 18, I maybe never noticed much difference. But 18, 19, I've noticed quite a big difference in the gameplay.
Good, then,
so at least it's nice to see a change. Yeah, so I think generally digital sales is probably rule for FIFA though. Number 2 is still Spider-Man. It's it was number 1 last week, but it's fallen to number 2, but it's bound to with FIFA coming out. Shadow of Tomb Raider's hanging around, that's number 3. Crash Bandicoot, number 4. Grand Theft Auto is still there at number 5. Mario Kart, number 6. Elder Scrolls Online 7. NBA 2K18 is number 8. Valkyrie Chronicles, number 9. And Minecraft Xbox Edition, number 10. Interesting that Forza's not there, because obviously you were able to buy a version of Forza earlier, weren't you?
I imagine that the charts are going to change quite drastically now in the next few weeks, because you've obviously the actual standard copy of Forza comes out tomorrow, the 2nd of October, and then you've got Assassin's Creed Early Edition, and then Assassin's Creed Standard Edition's on Friday. The week after that, it's Call of Duty. Then you've obviously got Red Dead. So I feel like the next few weeks, the charts will be. I think it will be hard for a game to hold the number 1 spot for the next few weeks, because it's going to be people just constantly buying new things.
It'll be interesting to see what happens when Red Dead comes out, and obviously Grand Theft Auto is still selling like crazy. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if Grand Theft Auto finally drops away, or if it still sticks around.
I think it'll be amusing if we're doing this podcast still in another 4 years and we're like, God, Red Dead Redemption 2 is still there. It came out 4 years ago.
You get the feeling that's going to sell crazy. It's just going to be madness, I think. Okay, anyway, so that's the game news done. So now we'll just go on and talk about our topic.
Yep. So this is something that Joe put on Twitter, and Joe's written a article about, but we just wanted to talk a little bit about PS Vita and the PS5 portable, if that were a thing that would happen. Basically, like thoughts on Sony and the handheld market for consoles rather than the stationary consoles that we all obviously know. I've never had a PS Vita, so my entire backlog and history with portable consoles has been on Nintendo. I've had pretty much all the versions of the DS that came out. I don't have a Switch, but I will have to get a Switch now that Animal Crossing's been announced. That's inevitable. So I can't really speak with too much, I guess, knowledge and insight on what the PS Vita was like, and the PSP, and what we could have in a PS5 portable if that's something that was on the line. I do think, and I've read Joe's article, and I agree with the fact that Sony seemed to find it quite tricky to dedicate their time to multiple products and then give them the same level of quality. So obviously the console is their main focus right now. They know that the console is what sell most of the copies, because if people want a portable console, then they're more likely to go towards Nintendo's catalog. And obviously it's tricky, I think, to maintain two products of the same quality when they're very different. Obviously, you've got different sort of software and battery life and everything if it's something you carry around with you, whereas it's something that's plugged into the mains at all times. So I don't know. I think now that obviously the Nintendo is a home console that is strictly portable, I can see that maybe there'd be a little bit of attention and a little bit of rivalry between the three console groups, but I don't know if it's something that PlayStation and Xbox would be rising up to. I don't know if it's something that they think we need to be in the market for that, or if they're happy enough with their sales figures already that they are just going to leave it all, stationary and at home. So I don't know too much. I think if it was an option alongside the PS5 that they brought out a portable, console that you could take around with you, I think I'd still just have the console. I just think don't have much time anyway, and I think playing video games in my home is something that I like to do to just like chill out. I think carrying it around with me, I'd think, I brought it with me, so I probably should play it, but I don't have time to play it, and I've got other things to do. What if I lose it? What if I drop it? It depends what stuff would be on there. Would it be old PS4 games? Would it be successful PS Vita games? New games that are out on the PS5 that they've slightly rendered to work on a portable console? So yeah, for me, I think it's something that if it were announced, I'd want to know more information about before I jumped in and, saying, I'm going to get this, I'm definitely going to buy this. But I said, I don't have any history with the handheld Sony consoles, so I'm coming in like a complete clean slate, whereas obviously you and, especially Dan and Nicole even, you guys all have had experience with portable and handheld Sony platforms, so you guys probably have more of a interest and knowledge than I do.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the going back a bit, I like the PSP. I thought it was a cracking console. I mean, that went on sold 80 million or something crazy like that. And it was a great little console. It's absolutely fantastic. And then they brought the Vita out, and it was just got, wow, this is just got a proper PlayStation in your hand. The Vita's incredible to begin with. I mean, some of the games, Killzone Mercenaries, I think it's called, there was great games on it. But I mean, the thing, it never ever got a Grand Theft Auto, did it? And
no.
The one thing I remember about the PSP is that it got the Grand Theft Auto games, and I think that probably really helped it. But Vice City, was it? What was it? Vice City Stories? And, there was a few others, but there was some really good games on the PSP, and I don't think the Vita really caught the third-party publisher's imagination as much as the PSP did.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons it never really caught on, because Sony kind of gave in. Like I said in my article, I mean, the PSP came out 2011, and 2 years later the PS4 was coming out, and obviously Sony had to get PS4 right, so it had to put its first party resources into the PS4 to make sure it was a success. And the Vita kind of suffered for that, I think, because if Sony's not bringing out first party games for it, and third-party developers think themselves, well, if they're not, why should we? And then,
exactly.
So it kind of became an indie machine, just full of sort of indie games, and it kind of lost my interest for that reason, because it's not really why I bought it. I like playing my big games, as you know.
Mm.
So I mean, I still like it, but not probably as much as what Dan did or
Yeah.
Nicole. They probably like it a lot more than me. But that's why to me, if they do, that's why to me really they won't do another handheld, not a PS Vita 2 anyway, not a dedicated handheld where they release it and they release dedicated games for it. It's not ever going to happen because
No.
they've just shown that Vita didn't work for them doing that. So that's why I thought to myself that if they're going to release a handheld, it's going to need to not be like Switch, but be a sort of similar idea to Switch where it works with the console that they release. So if they release a PS5, I think if there's going to be a handheld portion to it, it'll just be like a companion device that kind of plays the games that you already own. That would make sense because A, they don't need to support it with games because it plays the games you own on PS5. And they don't need to worry about third-party developers either because obviously it plays the games you've already got. So it kind of looks after itself. It's almost like a kind of no-brainer that if you want to release a companion handheld, this is the way to do it because you just release it and then don't worry about it. Maybe just do the odd revision to make it slimmer or whatever, but you'll never need to worry about it being supported by games because it will always be supported by games. So it just seems like a complete no-brainer to do it that way to me. Because you'd be able to get trophies and stuff and they would just count as PS4 or PS5 trophies or whatever. It wouldn't be a separate device. It would all just be like one device like the Switch is, but it's just that it would kind of be a companion device, whether that's probably the easiest way to do that from what I could think is kind of like a remote play or a streaming using 4G or something or Wi-Fi. So wherever you go, you'd be able to stream the games because I don't see how they would do it otherwise. Because if you own a PS4 disc, how would you play a disc in a handheld device? That would be pretty tricky, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's all those things to get down, but with Sony's sort of focus on the cloud and stuff, maybe they would do it like that, a bit like PS Now or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
We've
how
got
they would do
some user thoughts because we put a poll up on SquareXO saying, with Sony soon to shop Vita production, should it consider making another handheld? And we had 165 votes with 61% of people saying yes, they wanted another one, and 39% of people saying no. And then we've got some, thoughts down below. So we've got Derek Arek, who says, I love the Vita and it was a pretty impressive system, but the library killed it. Connected with the PS5 Switch style and you have a console. So same sort of thing we've been talking about. We've got Ashley, who says, only if it properly works alongside the PS4/5, not in this remote play BS, which, once again, I think a lot of people are in the same state of mind with stuff like this. A lot of people want it to be something that's compatible with what they already have instead of it being, oh, well, you've got to buy this system or you've got to have this separate library or this separate PlayStation account. Then we have another set of thoughts. Let me just find those underneath your article. So we've got Thomas who writes for us. He says, sadly, I agree that another dedicated Sony handheld is unlikely. A hybrid or companion ability, given the success of the Switch. Great article, Joe. So there's that as well. And then we've got someone who's called PS Vita Roundup who says, sounds about right, nothing dedicated, but guessing PS5 will come with some type of remote play/device. Perhaps a controller that gamers can stick into any high-end smartphone too. And then obviously you went in, you said companion device is probably the best way to go, which I think if that is something they want to consider, it would have to be something that works alongside it. How, for example, like just a really tiny example, for example, loads of people are buying the Pokeball Pluses for the Switch, and it's just a Joy-Con, but it looks like a Pokeball. I think a lot of people were saying, well, I'm glad that it works alongside the normal Joy-Cons, because otherwise it's £50 for something that's basically just a decoration. It's a lot of money to buy something that is just, you're going to use for one game alone. I think people want something that if they're going to buy it and spend a lot of money on it, you can use it repeated times, and it basically makes amount of time you're spending on it. So I think that most of the people agree with what we've said.
Yeah.
if it is going to happen, and it's unlikely that it's going to happen, it needs to be a companion device rather than an entirely new, separate device that people would have to register for again and make a new account for, because it's just too much.
I think the thing is, with the PS5, no one wants to sacrifice the power. So that's why I don't think it should be basically a clone of Switch, because obviously Switch, you plug it in, it plays on TV 1080p, you take it out, it plays 720, I think, on the handheld mode, but it's not a powerful device. It's not, it can't even play games in 4K, do you know what I mean? It's not Switch. I don't know how they could make Switch a more powerful device, and I don't know that they'd want to anyway. Nintendo, they're quite happy the way it is. But for Sony to do that, a sort of PS5 that's all powerful, and put it in a sort of Switch-like device, would be very expensive, I would think. Very difficult and very expensive. So I don't think it would be like that with a screen. I don't know. I don't have a clue how they would do it. I would think PS5 just has to be its own thing, its own powerful device that just plays games at because it's going to be compared to Xbox. So Xbox come out and go, oh, we'll play 4K at 60 frames per second. Sony has to come out and say exactly that, or say, no, we'll play 8K at 60 frames per second or whatever. So, I mean, that's a problem. Sony's got to have to compete in the AAA space first, because that's why the PlayStation 4 is up at, 80 million consoles or something crazy at the moment.
Yeah.
They're there because they're giving that experience that we all want. So I think for that reason, if they're going to release something, it should be a companion device that's separate from the console. Maybe you just buy it separately if you into gaming and you just want to take it and go, a bit like they did with PS TV or whatever, where you could plug it in upstairs or whatever. PS Vita TV, I think it was called. But yeah, I think it would need to be separate. If they'd done that, I think it'd be sensible, and I don't think it might cost them a lot of money to make it, but I think once people bought it, they don't need to worry about it. That's it. They're just making money, and especially if it took off, imagine that. People would just be buying it and they'd be like, yes, all this money's rolling in. So, I mean, it'd be interesting to see what they do, but it's going to be interesting overall to see what all these consoles are, what the next consoles are. How do they differentiate them? That's what I can't see. I can see the leap from PS3 to all the leaps there's been so far. I mean, you had PS1 and what was that, CDs, and then maybe PS2 was DVDs, and then PS3 was got Blu-rays, PS4's got jumping up to it full HD and 4K and stuff. You think to yourself, well, what's PS5? I mean, because it's obviously going to be a powerful 4K console. Maybe it'll run games at 60 frames. I guess that's what they'll be aiming for, but it's not really as big a leap because it's based in PC architecture. The PS4 is and the Xbox is. When it jumps up to PS5 and Xbox 2, it's just kind of like upgrading your PC now, and so it's just kind of like, oh, I'm upgrading my PC. So I don't think they need. What Sony generally does is pretty clever. They normally have something to differentiate it, don't they? I mean, if you think PS3, it was just starting to get into the network and all that. Then you got PS4 and you've got nice little features like the share button and stuff. So it'd be interesting to see what sort of features, even though they're not really a big deal, it'll be interesting to see what they are, what the new features are. Like how they evolve the share button or whatever. Because I love the share button. Yeah. So it'd be nice to see how they evolve little features like that though, and see what extra the console will be that differentiates it from the PS4, other than just that it's got a better frame rate. Because I'm sure every time they release new consoles, something changes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to be interested to see. I'm looking forward to finding out what happens there. Okay, right. Well, I guess that's that topic. Have you been playing anything?
I've been playing a bit. I will quickly just talk about Telltale's The Walking Dead, because obviously that's a game that's been in a bit of controversy at the minute because of what happened at Telltale. I don't know if we ever talked about it in the podcast news, but they've suffered massive layoffs and people were forced to leave their generally really awful stuff that resulted in they're shutting down basically. So everything that was coming up in the future has been cancelled. They're no longer doing a Stranger Things game. They're no longer doing The Wolf Among Us 2. But it did leave a massive question up in the air about what was going to happen with the rest of The Walking Dead, because they were 2 episodes into a 4-episode season. I bought the season pass, so I paid £25, I think, to have all episodes when they were released just automatically downloaded on my console, with the intention of reviewing them all on SquareXO, which I will do. I will review episode 2 soon, I promise. But yeah, so I've been playing that. It's been an interesting one because I played the 2nd episode a few days ago, and it was almost as though I didn't want to finish it because all I could think about was, this is like Telltale's true, like style and story. This is where they wanted to go. And even if it does tough now, or they fund them to be completed, I feel like it won't feel the same as it did originally. It's it might, to me it felt tainted, and that was only episode 2. There's still 3 and 4, which will be either cancelled, which I hope not, because that will be so abrupt just to end the story like that. And obviously we all know Telltale games like to end on cliffhangers, and it just ended, cliffhanger, check back in November for the next installment, apart from there is no next installment. So that was a bit weird to finish playing that and think that could potentially be the last we see of Clementine. Hopefully not. Hopefully there's either 2 extra episodes will come out before anything else happens at Telltale. But that was an interesting one to play because, like I said, it was not usually, you don't usually feel like that kind of sadness when you're playing something that isn't a sad game, but just knowing the history around what's going on with the developers right now, it just felt really quite, quite tainted. That they put loads of work into this series. They're obviously building it up to a really big finale, and we might not get to see that finale or the finale they wanted us to see because of what's happened at Telltale.
It's quite strange because obviously there's a full trophy list.
Yeah, there is.
So that kind of makes you think that maybe it's finished in some capacity. Because obviously, I've heard someone else say it, but obviously it has to go through all the Q&A and all that for the trophies and stuff. So maybe all the episodes are done, but they're just in sort of alpha state or something.
I hope so.
So yeah. I mean, and I did read that they were going to try and finish that series.
I think because it's in the 2nd episode of 4, because it's literally halfway through. I think they said that they were going to try and finish it. I think they put a statement out saying that they'd feel like if they just left it how it was, they felt they would have disappointed fans, the people who bought like the season pass, a rounded out story, just to have 2 episodes that literally end on a cliffhanger where there would never be a conclusion. So I think they're trying to work in it. And I think a lot of companies and, publishers and independent developers and so on, I think that they're quite interested in helping them finish it. They were talking about people coming forward with, we can help fund, even if we just give this much, we can help fund like the last episode or the 3rd episode, if that helps, just so you can get it out before everything closes down. So yeah, I played that.
So I was just going to say, it's a shame for Telltale, but in a way they kind of brought it on themselves. I think not just the way that it started off with what was their very first one? Wolf Among Us, was it?
Wolf Among Us, yeah.
And I've never played that one, but I own it, so I must play it one day because I hear it's really good. But it's kind of like it all just, it's almost like you saw it coming in a way, because I mean, they've done that, then they just go, Batman, Guardians of the Galaxy, Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, and it just seemed to go, and it seemed like they were taking on too much at once almost. And I think their sales suffered because of it, because they were just going and whacking them out one after the other. And I think that's probably what's happened. I know it's a shame. It's really a shame for all the people who work there and stuff. But I mean, it kind of smacks of bad management, really, doesn't it? Which is a shame. So, I mean, they kind of got too big for themselves, I think.
Oh, yeah. I feel like we could have an entire podcast where we talked about the whole Telltale issue. But I definitely think that if they had, if they'd confidently said to people that we're bringing out the 4th series of The Walking Dead, it's the final one, we've already published 2 episodes, we've got 3rd and 4th coming, and then to just close like that, I think that shows that it must have been something abrupt. If they, had so confidently sold season passes and so confidently said this episode will be out on this day, for them then to just go, oh, we're having to close, 250 people have been laid off, which is awful, obviously. Mm-hmm. It does show you, though, that something, maybe they did get too caught up with everything they had going on, and, they're spending too much money on making games that they didn't keep an eye on how much profit they were actually making as well. It's a weird one. It's something that I'd be quite interested to research and really look in depth at where things went wrong and what could have happened. But
yeah, it
for
would
now,
be interesting.
It's just sad. I feel bad for the people.
They must have been losing a lot of money though. Right, what else you been playing anyway?
Really quickly, I went back to the Long Dark after EGX. All the way through EGX, that was the only thing I could think about playing. I've got so many games in my backlog. Got Bioshock Infinite, got Dead Space 1. There's games from 3 years ago that I bought that I've still not finished, but all I wanted to do was play The Long Dark. I've been playing the story mode before I went to EGX, and then I came back, and the first thing I did was try mode. And I'm going to have a feature upon SquareXO at some point, just because I'm really enjoying the survival mode and how it's a true survival game instead of a survival horror game. So I'm going to have an article about that. But I'm really enjoying how authentic the experience is. And it's weird for something that doesn't have an end point. You literally, wake up every day, you walk to a new place, you explore a new location, you'll melt and boil some water so it's safe to drink, and then you'll walk somewhere else. There's no narrative or anything to really keep you going in the survival mode, but it's just so realistic and so in depth that you kind of challenge yourself to keep surviving. Everything's just so intricate, you have to really plan out everything. It might be a case of you need to get some sticks for a fire and you're really tired already, and you go to break up a branch and it'll say this will take you 30 minutes, and you're like, oh, that doesn't matter. But as you're chopping the sticks up, your exhaustion goes all the way down, and then you're in a state for the next hour where you're walking around like this, really slow, trying to get to the next house, and you can see it in the distance, but you're walking so slowly and the night's coming in. So it's just such a good experience to say that the survival mode doesn't really have anything driving it other than survive. So yeah, I've just been enjoying that, and that's something I feel like I could just go back and play 10, 20, 30-minute shifts of, just because it's, like I said, there's no point to it. It's just go and play, survive as long as you can. You can just chip away a little bits of the game each day. I was talking to somebody who's on day 600. I'm on day 7. So I don't know how they
bit to go to get there then.
But no, yeah, I'm really enjoying that. The story mode has been a while since they released the next episode. I think the last episode was released in August 2017, so it has been over a year. But I think that Hinterland Studios said that they were releasing episode 3 in December and revamping episode 1 and 2. So I'll probably wait until episode 3 is out before I go back to the story. Okay. No point playing again if they're going to revamp it. But yeah, that's it. How about you? Have you played anything?
Well, a couple things. I still been playing Spider-Man. I'm going to platinum that eventually. FIFA, which we talked about at the start, did review it. I mentioned Ultimate Team and also mentioned how this sort of game feels differently, so I don't really need to get into that too much. But I also played Life is Strange Part 2, Episode 1. Life is Strange is a bit of a conundrum to me, really, because on the one hand, it's a really interesting story, but it doesn't really have much to it in terms of gameplay or whatever. I mean, if I go back and think about what I actually did in the game, it wasn't a lot. It's kind of like most of the time you're just kind of watching them talking. And occasionally you might read a poster or have to. In fact, I think that's all I did: read posters and collect some stuff. And there was a bit of a sort of tense scene where you just had to point your brother in a certain direction. But yeah, that was about it, really, in terms of the gameplay. There's not really a lot to it, but it's just got such an interesting story that it kind of keeps you hooked in, and I'm really excited for episode 2 now. It's got, what's interesting about the story is it's about the 2 Mexican boys and their dad. I won't spoil the story, but basically these 2 Mexican boys, it's kind of goes with this sort of Trump route, where during the game somebody mentions about them building a wall to keep them out and stuff.
Okay.
And like you come across people who are just kind of racist, I guess the best way of putting it, and they're not very nice to them. But then at the other side of it, you get people who are understanding and really nice and stuff. So I mean, it's quite an interesting sort of deep story in that respect, which I quite like. And I like the fact that it's about 2 hours long or whatever. That's what I like about them, because obviously it's not too much at once. It's just kind of like watching a movie.
Exactly.
And then you're ready to play the next part. I'm sure as the episodes go on, the gameplay will get more intense and things will get a bit harder and a bit more, oh god, quick, do this, do that. But just the first episode just kind of eased you in, got you. The little brother's got a sort of superpower that you're just sort of learning about. So obviously in the next episode, I think he's going to sort of hone that power and start to control it a bit better, because he doesn't control it very well at the moment. So once he learns to control that, it'll probably see you take a bit more interest in that sort of thing. So I think it could get quite good. But yeah, I gave it an 8.5 out of 10, I think.
Yeah.
I've just scored it down a little bit just because there's not much in terms of gameplay. But in terms of the story and the presentation, it looks fantastic. So in terms of all that sort of thing, yeah, it's pretty impressive. So yeah, it's quite good. I'd recommend it, but I know that it probably won't sell very well, because I'm not that sure the others did. But I like it, so I'm not complaining. It's nice to have new characters as well, something a bit different.
Yeah.
Okay then, I guess that's what we've been playing, so now we can play our little game. Drop the score!
Is there new releases yet? I haven't got an email yet.
Did you not get the email?
No, did I not get the email?
Oh, I swear I sent it to you. I'll make sure I send it after this. I sent it to everybody. I must have missed you off for some reason.
That's sad. I'm one of the original gang. Like, not
that was just an error then. I'll make sure I send that in a minute. Okay, hey, you'll hear them now anyway, so you can just tell me what you want to review, then I don't need to send an email. So that's true. Okay, number 1, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. This is your one to score. Write your own epic odyssey and become a legendary Spartan hero. Forge your destiny in a world on the brink of tearing itself apart. Influence how history unfolds in a never-changing world shaped by your choices.
Not personally like a massive fan of the Assassin's Creed Odyssey games, but I think it's going to do quite well for reviews if it's not already got its score. I'm going to say 88 for that.
Cool. I think the scores come out today, actually. We may as well have a wee look and see how you did. Well, we're at it. Let's see how she did. What was it called again? Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
It's Odyssey. It's so confusing. It's the origins.
I know, I always get them muddled up. Metacritic. It's got what's it got so far? And it's been scored 86.
86, that's not bad.
That's from 54 critic reviews. Okay, the next one is Astrobot Rescue Mission. Now, I know this one's got 88 on Metacritic, and I've heard good things about it, so I was going to give it about 80-ish, but I'll just read out the description anyway. Astrobot Rescue Mission is a brand new platformer developed exclusively for use with PSVR. Take control of Astro the Captain Bot and go on an epic VR adventure to save your fellow bots who are dispersed all over space. Yeah, it was quite cool. It was like a sort of robot platformer, kind of Mario style in VR, but it was really good. So yeah, and it scores at 88, which is really good for a VR game, isn't it? So
it is, yeah.
Okay, next one, yours. Fists of the North Star, Lost Paradise. Fists of the North Star, Lost Paradise is an all-new chapter in the Hokuto Shrinken saga. As master of Hokuto Shrinken martial arts style, Kenshiro will demolish enemies from inside out with dozens of brutal and iconic techniques.
I've heard good things about this as well. Or just heard loads of people requesting this to review. I'll say 79.
Okay. Right, do we have that for review? we do have it for review. The first code we got never worked, but the second one might have, I don't know. I think Richard's reviewing that one. Freaky Awesome. Freaky Awesome is a highly dynamic roguelike where you'll gain mutations by contact with the remains of your enemies. Play solo or co-op with your friends. I'm going to give that a 65. Mega Man 11. The newest entry in this iconic series blends classic challenging 2D platforming action with a fresh look. The stunning new visuals combine hand-drawn environments with detailed 3D character models. We reviewed this one today, Rebecca. What's your score?
I think this one looks good too. I didn't read the review on the website because I haven't been on SquareXO today, but I think I'll give it a 80.
Cool. I think we give it a 90, actually.
Okay, that's not bad.
The Midnight Sanctuary, a haunting story wrought by mystical visuals and talented voice artists. The Midnight Sanctuary is a full-voice, full-animation, occult horror visual novel about the mystery of a so-called saint who descended upon an isolated village. I'm going to give that a 55.
You seemed unsure then.
I thought really hard about that there. Yeah, I wasn't sure, but I thought I'll go 55. Party Crashers. Fast-paced battle racing with a retro future aesthetic for 1 to 4 players, with over 50 games including game modes and with over 50 included game modes and almost endless customization. Party Crashers is amazing, fun out of the box, and lets you create your own fun.
It's a party game, so I'll give it 60. I never know what to make about party games.
We do have that one for review as well, actually. Paddle Box. This might be another one we've got for review, but I'm not sure. Paddle Box is an adventure fighting game inspired by Punch-Out series. It's a surreal quest with a duck.
A duck?
A surreal boxing quest with a duck.
It's
for
duck.
PS Vita, it says.
Ooh.
I'll give it a 60. There we go. Racket Fury Table Tennis VR. Step into the most realistic, intense table tennis experience. Feel the difference with extremely accurate physics developed in cooperation with professional TT players.
That sounds like someone's going to get hurt. That sounds like the type of VR game where people hurt themselves.
Yes.
Going like backhands, and I imagine a lot of things will get knocked over with that. I will give that a 59. I don't know. I really get nervous I'm going to offend people.
Hey, it's just a score based on the title and the description. It's just a bit of silliness. But 59 then, right, it's quite weak because we've only got 2 left. Valrifian Arc Hero School Story. Have you ever wondered where all the powerful knights and wizards come from? No one is born a hero, it's your job. As principal of Valrifian Academy to train the most promising students to become heroes of legend. So basically you're a hero teacher. Sounds quite different. I'll go for a 60. 60. Last one. WWE 2K19. WWE 2K19 is the latest entry to the flagship WWE video game franchise, showcasing a massive roster of popular WWE superstars, legends, and Hall of Famers. Experience authentic WWE gameplay, creation options, and more.
I don't know how well the other ones have done in the series, but I'll say a 75 for that. That must surely be getting its embargo dropped soon. It's on Friday, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. We don't have it for review yet, but I think we're on the list, so we might be reviewing that one too. Okie doke then. That's that. That's our game finished. Yay. Right, okay, before we go, don't forget to follow us at squarexo.co.uk, twitter.com/square_XO, and you can back us on patreon.com/squarexo. You can visit our website, as mentioned, for all the latest reviews. Currently 45 in September. We've already started this month on a high number of about 4 or something, so, and it's only the 1st, so there's more to come this week. I think we'll probably be hitting 45 again this month, to be honest.
So are the big releases too.
So yeah, it's impossible to read everything we do out. So if you check out the website, that'd be appreciated. Give us a nice review wherever you listen or watch, and a nice rating if you can, just so other people can find us, because that's always appreciated too. Because the more people find us, the better. And I have to say, more people have been finding us recently. Our viewing figures have been going up every single week since we started, from episode 1 all the way to episode 77. So yeah,
It's good then.
Shouldn't be getting better and better. More popular. Before you know it, we'll be in those charts at some stage. So yeah. So thanks everyone for joining us. Hopefully there might be a few more of us next week. We'll see. We'll try and get some new faces and stuff, because it's always nice to have different voices on the podcast too, as well as ours, because we'd always hear. It's nice to add someone else in as well now and again, and have them alongside us giving their opinions. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.